Yeah, I'm Phil Menary from Axonify. I guess I get the privilege of looking after R&D here at Axonify. We provide a corporate e-learning solution that makes heavy use of gamification, in part to drive participation and make it a fun experience.
Hi, I'm Paul Prescod, and I'm from Ayogo. And what we do is make games that educate people and motivate them with respect to chronic health conditions. So, for example, diabetes, to try to encourage somebody to make the changes necessary to their diet, their exercise, and of course also taking their medication.
We view that the learning solution or the learning activities need to be bite-sized. So that's one of the terms that we use often. And so where a traditional learning event is maybe several hours in a classroom for a corporate setting or even several hours online, we view that that's not the optimal way to have people retain the information and put it to use on the job. So our platform helps people break their learning activities into 1 to 5 minute chunks that they do every day.
Well, maybe if the two of you could speak towards the effectiveness and how you're approaching effectiveness of gamification.
That we've done sort of from the very beginning is kept track of basically all the clicks and all the interactions that people are doing, and we were really surprised. We just recently launched a new social feature to the platform, and where we publish news stories about people's success in learning, whether it be in a game in the learning setting or actually learning a particular topic like customer service. So we published these news stories, and we said, sort of in a late breaking thing, we said, well, we've got enough time. Let's add the ability for people to like these news stories into the platform. And in the first week, we had over 6,000 likes of news stories from people who were liking stories about their peers, and we were just blown away by that engagement factor that we got from that. So I think social is pretty powerful, and I think data is pretty powerful as well.
In some contexts, as you mentioned, we can actually get sensor data where we can actually, measure the number of steps, the heart rate. We've done some of that, blood glucose, and so forth. And we see that as a really exciting growth area. The sensors are getting smaller and smaller, more and more powerful, more and more mainstream. There are so many competitors in that field, companies that didn't even exist 2 or 3 years ago, and so there's it's going to be a whole new kind of data that's available to us when we're measuring the effectiveness of our interventions.
But how do you measure whether or not the game is necessary? The game portion of these apps is necessary. I mean, obviously, you can do that without any kind of a gamification system.
I think it's a very powerful, alluring technology that you can also fall prey to, right? And you can then become very focused on just data and just thinking, okay, this is all that matters. So that kind of leads to a big question that I have to Phil and Paul about design, right? How do you guys in your companies, how do you approach the design process?
We definitely find that certain game types are more popular in different areas. So we have games from different genres. So puzzle brain teaser type games, which I think provide a double whammy for the corporation and the employee, and then right through to very casual arcade style games that are largely meant as a fun reward for participating in the platform. I guess that's where we customize a solution based on the culture of the company that we're interacting with. So, things like space attack may not be appropriate in a frontline retail setting, or it may be.
So yeah, at Ayogo, we view ourselves as a sort of a health IT company fused with a game studio. So we do have, we're in Vancouver, it's a big gaming town, and we do have a lot of classical kind of game talent. So we're very focused on this question of design. And so the way we approach it is we start by talking to the so maybe it's a nonprofit or a health insurance company or a pharmaceutical. What's the behavior that you're trying to motivate? And then the second question is, and who are you trying to motivate that in? And then the third question is always, well, let us talk to them. So then we will try to find a bunch of people like that and talk to them and try to get sort of into their psychology.
The design process in any application, not just in games, but whenever you're designing things, it's incredibly messy. It's very much user-focused, and that makes it messy because it's iterative. You look at how they're working with your application, how they're playing the game. You want to find out what makes them tick and what makes that special group engaged. And like Paul said, sometimes they want more content, and then you just have to look at, can we cater to that? Does it make sense? And will this actually result in something that's very exciting for us?
The most powerful way to get long-term engagement is to build friendships within the game. So that's the other aspect, is that once people see it as their second Facebook, that they need to go on and see what's going on in the community, then that's another aspect of it. And borrowing from Phil, we have that same idea of bite-sized chunks. So you'll feel like every day you'll learn something small. You won't be overwhelmed, and it will kind of evolve over time. So that's another way to get that long-term engagement.
We've learned that we don't want to just treat the game like a reward, like a cookie. We want the actual learning to happen in the context of the game. So we've weaved in knowledge challenges as part of the game.